From a traditional standpoint, the man
From a
pays for
traditional
dinner.
standpoint,
Yeah.
but like women are not really traditional anymore. I mean, you mentioned men should be gentlemen. Where are the ladies?
We're right here.
But you just said you're an escort. I mean, like, you're not a lady.
Excuse me?
How I don't like when men have this type of conversation with women like this. You're not going to get a real idea of what real women are really thinking. What is he hoping to accomplish out of asking these types of women this? Hi everybody, welcome back to our channel. So we have a subscriber that wrote us. He wants us to look at a clip of the Whatever podcast. Okay, so he says, hello, I'm not sure if you watch the Whatever podcast, but I thought this clip was interesting. I'm actually a married man of 15 years. When I see stuff like this, I'm always glad I found my wife because dating has to be awful these days. These women seem to be lost and the host seems to be on guard. Tell me what you think, Curtis. All right, Curtis, we'll tell you what we think. It's always very interesting with these these kind of podcasts where they have like the group, like it'll be like one or two guys, or it could be the other way around, but one or two guys, and then these like plethora of like lost women, or like why can't we just add in a couple of, smart women? It's always interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean, just so for my personal thing, look, I know it actually does lose me women that I'm not willing to pay for first dates, but at the end of the day, I don't want to feel like a sucker. I've been there before. I don't want to do it.
Is this like something you're dealing with personally?
What do you mean?
Like, is this a
This
problem?
is something that pretty much all men are dealing with.
Let me ask you, how do you get out of this? Where do you go from this? You don't want to feel like a sucker. I don't know if this happened in the past. What now? How do I get you married?
Well, so okay, we'll get to the marriage thing in a little bit because I know you wanted to talk about marriage. So I'm not necessarily opposed to falling into more of a like taking care of a girl. I certainly have the finances to do it down the road. Okay. But up front, no. You need to I need to get to know you before I'm prepared to do that. Okay, but what is that? So you need to get to know her in a way where you're not spending money on her, because if you are, then you might get bit in the ass, or what? It's really just a matter of principle to me. It's not, I know, about the loss of money. I know, and I actually get the principle. I respect that. But how do you, as a man, because you're a single guy in this crazy market right now, how do you move on? How do you navigate this? Do you go to the park and you hang out at the park? Oh, like how do I do dates? How do you do dates and invest and also invest no money because you're scared that she might? Sure. Okay. Oh, I'll put you on some game. What did you have to say?
So if you want so badly to be fair and not pay the girl's meal, doesn't that kind of make the girl have less respect for herself and less self-esteem to be willing to go half and half on a first date? So like, does that mean you're setting yourself up to be with less lower value girls because you refuse to appreciate their value from the beginning? What do you mean appreciate their value? Like pay for the dinner. Why is that appreciating someone's value? From a traditional standpoint, the man
From a
pays for
traditional
dinner.
standpoint, but like women are not really traditional anymore. I mean, you mentioned men should be gentlemen. Where are the ladies?
We're right here.
But you just said you're an escort. I mean, like, you're not a lady.
Excuse me?
You're a female, but you're not a lady.
What makes me not a lady?
Well, I suppose I'm not a gentleman.
Because I got in a shitty situation at 18 and did what I had to do to survive and pay my bills.
That doesn't undo the fact that, look, you are not a lady. That doesn't make me not a lady. I'm a survivor. I'm someone that's really strong. Like, I don't understand how I wouldn't be a lady. Sure, you can be strong, but when I say lady, I'm sort of talking about traditional gender roles. So a gentleman versus a lady. Okay, I'm just going to say this real quick. What I don't understand, this is why I don't like watching these types of things, right? And I will, because I want to give you guys my opinion on this, but I don't like when men have this type of conversation with women like this. Because because I feel like you're not going to get a real idea of what
real women are really thinking. You're gonna get the idea of what a lot of lost women are thinking. You know, and I don't know what he's hoping to accomplish out of this with these particular women. That's not my only thing, is that what is he hoping to accomplish out of asking these types of women this? Because now I question him. You have to be, if you're going to have these deep conversations about, you know, relationships or whatever it is you guys are, you know, having a conversation about, I do think you need to have level-headed women and men. I'm not sure what her story is. What I'm saying is that it doesn't seem like these women are in the mind space to have this type of conversation. And more than that, why did he want it with them?
I don't get it.
I don't understand. That's why I hate these things.
I mean, these women aren't even, I mean, I'm not even talking about the escort thing. I mean, just the way that this one here has a bullet on her, or she has a point on her head.
And she's holding a black baby doll. And she's I've been looking at her too.
One woman with her chest all out. I mean, to me, it's just like, these women are kind of easy to defeat.
But like, what, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to bring different women. I don't watch the show. I don't know if they have different people. I know what I'm seeing here just before.
Let us know. Do they have different, like, normal people?
Before these women even talk, I'm looking at them physically.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, you don't take yourself seriously, and therefore you don't get treated seriously.
Right.
But then if you're dating women that aren't serious, then I have to ask you why, if you're serious.
Exactly.
A lot of men date these women because they're easy to date.
Yeah.
They're easy to sleep with. They're, you know what I mean? Modern women and feminists are easy to sleep with. Because they think of themselves as men, and they think themselves as progressive, and they think progressivism means be like a guy. Because they think men get respect and women don't. So to get respect, you have to act like a man, which means to act like a man means you have to get rid of your virginity, you have to sleep around, you have to go to work, you have to do all these things. And I've been saying before that the specialness of women is to me what's being lost. Yeah, women are their own. We're our own oppressors. Because the truth is that what we're saying as women, what feminists are saying is we aren't enough as we are. Right. Men aren't saying that. Women are saying that. What they're saying is that men oppress us, but we need to be like men.
Right. I don't get that.
So you want to be oppressive?
Right.
You look at these men and see that you see they're oppressive. So if you're dating women like this,
what is it saying about you?
Then I'm asking you: are you taking your dating life seriously?
Because how can it be that you are having? It's almost like. Okay, it's almost like men like this. Now, this is not all men, because I know there's, you know, more level-headed men. But it's like almost like men like this are hoping to have this conversation with women like this because they know they may win this conversation. Like, I feel like he already has, like, I don't know anything about this guy, but he's, you know, he seems to be pretty normal. There's obviously something happening here, but with him. But I do question him. Because I'm like, well, what are you hoping? What kind of answer are you hoping to get out of women that are behaving like we're seeing right now? They haven't even barely said anything, but I can already have seen a million of these women. I can already tell you what this is about. It's almost like he set himself up to be the winner, and this because people are gonna look at him as normal. Look at these girls; they're not behaving properly. Like he said, they're not ladies. You know what I mean? It's crazy. I don't know.
Yeah. But traditionally, like...
A gentleman is someone who pays for your date, who protects you, who provides, who's a gentleman.
Do you think we don't deserve that because we're sex workers? Do you think we don't deserve that because we're sex workers?
It's not a question of deserving and not deserving, but what I'm trying to point out is that as sex workers, you are not traditional women. If you find that offensive that I don't consider you traditional women, I'm sure you can admit yourself you're not a traditional woman.
You don't even consider me a lady. I just figure you think that I should go like be on the street corner or something.
Well, that's not what I said, but you're not.
What do we mean by lady? What's a lady?
Yeah.
What is a lady?
A lady would be the counterpoint of a gentleman.
Okay.
So basically just adhering to
traditionality,
decorum and traditional gender roles.
Okay. So
by virtue of being a sex worker, and this isn't me trying to attack sex workers, but you are not traditional. Ergo, you are not a lady.
Well, you're not a gentleman. You do a podcast. That's not traditional.
Well, I don't think my specific
job. Let me ask you this: what job ought a traditional man have, if not podcasting?
A business.
This
a
is
businessman.
He's running a business.
This is a business.
He could provide for a woman and 5
CEO.
kids. He's a CEO of
Well, so
of
could I. I
whatever
could
Inc.
provide for kids too. And
But the metro. I mean, the profession of selling yourself.
Either way, a man's paying. What's the difference then if a man pays for an escort or pays for dinner?
Well, if a man is sleeping with
Traditionally.
escorts, he's not a gentleman.
Yeah, they end up paying somehow.
I disagree.
I think a man paying for dinner is looking for something more out of a woman other than just her sweet.
Well,
I disagree.
As you said.
I disagree.
Actually, I disagree.
I disagree
Most
because
men are
here's why.
looking
Because
just for
here's why.
pussy.
Because a guy who is going to pay for a first date, he's trying to do everything to stack the cards in his favor in order for it to get to
It's
the finish
competitive.
line.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's being competitive, so he's.
But what's that finish line? Is it necessarily just having sex? I think genuinely most men want to get married, want to have kids, want to have a family.
I agree.
I think that's what most men want, and you're right. It's very hard right now to do that. Incredibly challenging.
Yeah, but I don't think that if you don't want to pay for the first date as a guy, that necessarily means you just want the pussy.
But it gives the impression to the girl that you
You
don't
wanna be
like her. Like you
serious.
don't like her.
Wait, do you not talk to girls before you take them on a date?
Oh, right. This comes back to your question, like, okay, how does this actually
What's the
play
game?
out?
Yeah.
How does it look?
What's the strat?
Okay, so, well, first off, no dinner dates.
Okay.
Never dinner dates. So it's either meet for like a tea or a coffee or something. Or you meet for a drink. I'm not a big drinker, but, occasionally I'll have like a glass of wine or a beer. And I'm not really like, this has changed throughout the years, but here's the game plan. I'm giving you guys some game.
His body language, and I think the conversation is flustering him because he's talking. What they're talking about seems to be about longevity in a relationship and marriage, and that's making him extremely uncomfortable. Now, it can be for a plethora of reasons. Don't really know, but he does not seem like he's somebody that is, one, secure, and two, really ready.
I can answer the question to those girls. Being a prostitute or being a sex worker isn't a lady.
Isn't a lady.
So you can just,
Yeah.
you're saying I'm not a lady? Yes, I'm saying
Yeah,
that. You're
you're
not a lady.
lady.
You're not supposed to sleep around for money. That's weird.
That doesn't make you a lady.
Secondly, paying for dates. I've never had a man who didn't pay for a date. But I will say this, that I don't need you to. We don't even need to go on a date where you have to pay.
Yeah, like why
We
is
can
that
literally
okay?
go for a walk, because when you're serious about dating someone,
Yeah.
when you're dating with a purpose, you're not dating because you want a guy to pay for stuff or to buy you things. You're getting to know him. You're talking about longevity and living with someone and marrying someone for the rest of their life through sickness and health. Then buying dinner is not the litmus test of you proving yourself to me that you're a real man.
And which is
because
the
men who
problem.
sleep around can still pay for dates.
And which is the
You
problem
know?
with society right now is that people are saying they want relationships, but they're not dating with a purpose. I'm no dating coach, but I'm just saying that if you are wanting a real serious relationship and you're really wanting to go to the next level and be a girlfriend or a boyfriend for the rest of your life, right? You really want it to be something else. You would date seriously. You wouldn't be talking to escorts and prostitutes. You wouldn't submit yourself to this type of environment, talking to women that really, I'm not sure that you're even helping. If you're trying to, I'm not sure.
The first thing I would be looking for, are you a man of God?
Yeah.
Who
That's
are you in Christ?
Yeah.
Let's just keep it real. You don't have to have a lot of money to be a good man.
But who?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to know that if I'm having children with you, that you're going to be a guy that we all can look up to.
Yeah.
That we can all rely on, and we can all that everyone in the household can believe in, and that they're and the only way you can do that is if you're kind of a man of God. If you have something above you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Buying a dinner is not the litmus test for a man to show you that he is a man.
But
you know what I mean?
he
I'm
has
not
specific
saying-
rules for
right.
himself.
But
that
what I'm
he's
saying is that even when I go out with men, that they always pay for the dinner. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm saying, oh, well, he's a man because he paid for the
dinner,
meal.
yeah.
There are much other things that go
Yeah.
with being a man than
Right.
buying something for me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's something else you got to feed me besides food, and I'm talking about mentally.
Right.
I want to know. I do want to know what you do for a living. I'm interested in you. You know what I mean? I want to know, do you believe in God? I want to know, what's your religion? What how were you raised? I want to know those things because those things are going to matter if we go further.
Yeah.
Sex needs to be taken out of relationships anyway.
Yeah.
Because people shouldn't be having sex when they're on dates anyway. Because for one thing, all it does is confuse the situation. There's a reason why you're not supposed to have sex before you're married. Because it confuses, it takes things out of order. Anytime, that's why feminism is wrong, because it's out of order. Whenever you take something that is marriage is, you know, is already defined in the Bible. So when you take something, you take it out of order, you mess it up. This is why so many women, when they go and sleep with a guy before they're married to them, they get confused. They wonder, does he like me? Does he really? Because what you've done is you've taken something out of order now, and now you put yourself in a vulnerable position because you've given yourself to him. You know what I mean? These girls, I don't know what they do as far as sex work, but even if you're an Instagram girl and you're showing your body, you're already showing a part of yourself. You're showing who you are as a woman.
Well, yeah,
you know
what you're doing is you're belittling and you're diminishing your value. See, the thing is that's the thing, right? Is that it's the value part of you as a woman, right? So when you do things that are, one, out of order, like you're saying, feminism, and then two, over sexualizing yourself and then putting that out there in this way, you are diminishing all of your value little by little. You know what I mean?
I had sex before I was married, and what I'm saying is it always made me insecure, which is why I don't do it anymore.
Right.
Because because if I haven't done, well, I hate to tell you my too much information, but I'm saying I don't do it anymore because what it does is it distracts from the purpose of dating with a purpose.
Right.
Because now you've introduced something that should have happened afterwards. You know what I mean? And so these women are going to fail, not because not because they're not nice girls, or I'm sure they are, but it's because what they're doing is disrespecting themselves on a platform, on a grand level, showing men that I don't respect myself. And you shouldn't respect me because I let all men see me like this. And there's nothing special about you because I let other men see me this way too. That's why, being a prostitute or a stripper or being an Instagram girl, that's what's wrong about it. It's like, it's wrong because it puts you in a position to be out of order. And it shows men that if you really like a guy, that there's nothing special about him. Because you do the same thing with him that you would do with any man.
Yeah.
That's not your husband. And they even take you on a date.
Yeah, and I don't think a lot of women are these sex workers and whatever, in whatever aspect and whatever level of sex work that they do. I don't think any of them want to do this. I think that they put on a big front that this is so, like I'm a boss of my own. They go with that whole spiel. And the truth is I think women, in general speaking, this is not something to be proud of. And I don't think any of these women are proud of what they do for a living. I don't. I don't think they want to do this. I think that's all they have. I think they feel like this is all they have. And this is the only thing that's going to garner some kind of attention. And so this is why they do this. I do not believe any woman wants to do this for a living, ever. I don't think any woman wants to do this. It's just that they just all they have. And then when they put themselves in front of a man like this that is going to, I don't want to say he's not going to put them down, tell them the truth. I guess tell them the truth in some way. It's these kind of conversations are so odd to me. I mean, I guess it's just I think it's what I'm just coming from that space of it's just so odd to me to have this type of conversation with these types of people. I don't know about this other guy here and this guy here, but the host, he seems
he seems down.
Yeah, he doesn't seem happy.
And
he just seems like something's up.
The variety of women in his age group, maybe he's just mad at that.
Yeah.
That most women have become this.
Yeah, and that's another thing is that he wouldn't be wrong in that to be careful. So he wouldn't be wrong though to be leery of a lot of women today.
And women are a creation of these men making though. Yeah. Because these women don't have careers unless men give it to them. So women, if you're naked on Instagram, if men like it, all the likes that they get from men creates them.
Yeah, because the likes, what happens when men do these likes and stuff with these types of women, their pages and whatever, and show them any type of attention whatsoever, that is a form of currency for them. So that's feeding their ego. That's helping them. That you're aiding and abetting their behavior. Is what you're doing. You're just aiding in the continuation of the downfall and the morality of society. That's what you're doing when you do that. So these women continue to do that because they're going to get the likes. They get their payoff. I'm sure money and likes. you know, and then you get to see the visual. But there has to be some type of self-control on both parts, right? Men are going to have some type of control with themselves to be able to scroll past women like this, to not show them attention in this way, so society can get back down to a more moral, you know, the moral fiber of society will be increased again, you know. But it's because we're showing all of the stuff that used to be behind the scenes, and we're showing it like out loud in front of us. It's like it's become a demoralist and demoralizing society. I feel like he's like not happy, and I would say that because I know how women are today, majority of women are today, I understand his apprehension with women.